from the beginning.
We have everybody?
I think so.
All right, Brandon will not be on the meeting tonight, so I will be stepping into his shoes. We're going to begin with a public hearing to consider a request for a variance for a 3-foot, 1.75-inch zoning variance from the required 100-foot front yard setback from Emery Road to construct a front dining room addition and a covered front porch for the property located at 28550 Emery Road, Orange Village, Ohio. Does anyone have any comments on this? Okay, if there are none, we can move on to the public hearing to consider requests for a variance for a 30-foot
Oh.
zoning variance from the required 60-foot corner.
Time out. Time out.
Time out. We have
Yes.
to close the public hearing for that one.
Okay, sorry. How do I
That's
do
okay.
that? Just say I'm closing a public hearing?
I have just.
Just did.
Close the
Public hearing is
hearing.
closed.
Okay, for the 286, whatever. Emery.
28550 Emery Road.
All right, okay. Thank you. Sorry,
will-
now you can open the other one.
We will open a new public hearing to consider a request for a variance for a 30-foot zoning variance from the required 60-foot corner side yard setback from Jackson Road to construct a 30-foot by 33-foot detached garage 30 feet from the north lot line at Jackson Road for the property at 28300 Jackson Road in Orange Village, Ohio. Does anyone have any comments on that?
I do.
Name and address.
Who
This
said
is
that?
Susan Bonk. I do have a comment to make.
Okay, go ahead.
This is on behalf of retired Councilwoman Frances Kluter. She's unable to attend the meeting this evening and asked that I would read a statement for her, if that's all right with you.
Sure.
Thank you. As a retired Orange Councilwoman of 32 years as of December 2019, I have been approached for my own history of voting yes or no for variance requests that came before me over the long years. It was never an easy call, and I had to know the precise legal variance procedure before I could ultimately cast my vote. Variances are an exception to the planning and zoning code. A proponent for a variance must demonstrate hardship in the request. In addition, direct neighbors must now be approached for support or not of the variance. Have Mr. and Mrs. Ciancola shown their hardship in asking for this variance for a 30-foot by 33-foot detached garage 30 feet from the corner lot line? Does council have letters from the neighbors? The proposed detached garage must be used for personal and not commercial use. I think planning and zoning approved the variance request, except for Brian Hitt, a former councilman and a member of Planning and Zoning Commission for maybe 40 years. Brian knows zoning. He needs to be asked why he voted no. I am familiar with the said property. It's a large wooded lot. I believe there's an accessory building already situated there. And if this proposed garage is to be built as requested, shouldn't that accessory building be torn down? There cannot be two accessory buildings on the property. There is enough room for the proposed garage to be placed somewhere else, maybe in the woods, therefore eliminating a variance. My other concern was if I voted for a variance in a case like this, was I not opening the door for other residents to seek the same consideration? Rules could therefore be bent. Remember again, where is the hardship? Council may or may not know that Ed and Susan Bonk live almost opposite the house on Brainerd cornering Jackson for 35 years. Ed served one term as a councilman for Orange, and Susan was a clerk of council and administrative assistant for just over 10 years. I reiterate, Council, before voting on this variance, must examine the true need of hardship. This is where your leadership comes into play. I cannot be at the Zoom public hearing. I am therefore submitting this in writing for your deliberation and maybe healthy debate. Good wishes to the mayor and council members. Sincerely, retired Councilwoman Frances Cluter. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Are there any other comments?
Yes, mine. This is Ed Bonk, 4369 Brainerd. This,
Yes, go ahead.
thank you.
Yep.
This is a simple issue if you read the Orange Village Charter and follow the law. During the planning and zoning meetings, the applicant stated the reason for the variance is he did not want the proposed structure to obstruct the view of his backyard. Council has the sole authority to grant variance. As elected officials who swore to uphold the law, council has to decide whether this variance meets the requirements established by the village charter. From the Orange Village Charter, Roman numeral 3-9C, administrative powers. Council may grant variance, special use permits, and make findings declaring that the uses are similar, harmonious, and compatible with other permitted uses in the planning and zoning code. After public hearing, where there is practical difficulties or substantial and unreasonable hardship in carrying out the spirit and the intent of the code, and in order to protect the general purpose of the zoning code so that the public health, safety, and general welfare may be secured and substantial justice be done. If you read that carefully, Orange Village Charter has very specific requirements. They are unambiguous and they must be met. Our code and standards, to summarize, are the intended use must be similar, harmonious, compatible with permitted uses. There is practical difficulties. Substantial and unreasonable hardship is another standard. The general purpose of the code are protected so the health, safety, and welfare may be secured and justice is done. None of these standards have been met or even alleged by the petitioner. Anyone driving east on Jackson from the intersection of Brainerd and Jackson will not find a single structure within the requested variance setback. This is a beautiful, wide open vista of trees, lawns, gardens, and homes set way back off the road. The variance request is neither similar, harmonious, nor consistent with the neighborhood. There are no practical difficulties whatsoever prohibiting the petitioner from building another building or utility structure on his land within the mandated setbacks. He has 2 acres to build whatever the law allows. We have a zoning code. The petitioner also claims that he does not want to look at the structure from his window. So instead, he wants the rest of the neighborhood to see it as it's sitting directly off the road. This is the ultimate NIMBY. It's not in my backyard, even if the applicant created it. And he wants to put it in everybody else's face to protect his view. There is not unreasonable hardship for someone who wishes to place a structure on their property to have to see their structures. He has an option of living without the structure if he chooses. The petitioner also complains about the added expense of locating the building within the zoning code. It's the same requirement that everybody faces in the village. The expense of a building structure where it belongs, key is where it belongs, is not a hardship. It's neither substantial or unreasonable. This is no different than what everybody in the village faces when they build an item. The general purpose of the code is to protect the health, safety, and welfare of the community. This is why council passed these rules and established setbacks. If you approve this variance, think of the dangerous precedent you've established and the consequences the village faces in the future. Will an individual who desires his view or personal convenience be a reason for this council to approve a variance in your neighborhood? Today, council gets to decide. Are we going to be a village of laws and rules that apply to every residence? Or are we going to make exceptions for special people because the rules don't apply? Thank you for your consideration.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Bonk. Are there any other comments?
Yes, this is Nick Cianciola, the petitioner.
Yes, Nick, go ahead.
I would just say I wasn't prepared to argue against my neighbors there, but we pretty much hashed out all these issues for over an hour last week, and this building is not right on the road. It's 50 feet off the road. The hardships were considerable, as demonstrated last week with the drawings and whatnot. And the meeting last week agreed with our arguments and our hardships. And I mean, that's all I have to say. I'm not a very good oral arguer. I didn't prepare anything. But we're going to do our best to make this thing look nice. And we had also talked about doing some additional landscaping to lessen the effect for the bonks across the street. And I'll do whatever we can to alleviate their concerns. But the meeting was pretty thorough last week about the issues involved, and the results are in front of you now. So thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments?
Council President, Pro Tem, can I just remind council that they have a lot of information in their packet that I hope they read?
Yeah, those were emailed out earlier in the week. So this will be covered in the new business later on in the agenda. And Steve, are we voting on this today, or is this just the first reading?
No, it's set for decision this evening. The public hearing has been held, and we can comment on some of the legal issues at the time council discusses the matter. This part is just to hear the public's comments.
Okay. Okay, are there any other comments from the public? Okay, then I will close this public hearing, and I will call the council meeting of April 14th, 2021 to order. Anna, will you please take roll? You are muted.
Charnas,
You're muted, Ellen.
You're muted, Ellen.
Yes, here, sorry.
thank you. Vincent,
Here.
Perry, Silver,
Here.
Klein,
Here.
Comet. Muted. Comet.
Here.
Thank you. Duber. Okay,
Okay, thank you. I will make a motion to appoint April Skirka as a licensed architect to the Architectural Board of Review for a term expiring December 31st, 2023. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Judd.
I'd like to introduce April, who you can see on your screen. Wave, April. Okay. Judd and Bob McLaughlin helped me screen through the candidates. This is a position on the Architectural Board of Review. which is 2 additional people that get added to planning and zoning for items under their purview. The charter requires, this is a mayoral appointment subject to council confirmation, and it runs concurrently with the mayor's term. It is required by charter to have a licensed architect. And we also have one or two licensed architects and 1 or 0 landscape architects. We already have a landscape architect on the board, and we are filling Eric Newland's spot. Eric Newland, who's been on the board, I don't remember how long, but so long that we got used to him. And he is moving out of town, and even he recommended April to replace him. You can see she certainly has the professional qualifications. I like very much that April lives right in the Orange School District portion of Solon, which means she's familiar with our community and our neighborhoods, and that's important to me. So Judd probably could add a few words before we vote on April. And April, if they confirm you tonight, I will have you take an oath of office at the first planning and zoning meeting in May.
Okay.
Judd, do you want to say a few words, please?
Sure, I'd be happy to. April, as you know from her credentials, has had a wide variety of experience, some of which, a good deal of which, is in the area of retail and shopping center design, which we see a great deal of in the community. One of the things I don't think that I saw on her resume is that April is a member of NOMA. Is that correct, April?
Yes.
NOMA is the National Organization of Minority Architects. They are a parallel group to the American Institute of Architects. Many NOMA members are separately members of that organization, along with being AIA members. She came to me through, if you will, through that organization, as I have quite a few contacts in there, and I reached out to some of them to assist me in looking for candidates for this position. And after talking with April, and she is an absolute perfect person to fill this vacancy that has been created by the departure of Eric Newland. I think she'll add a great deal. She has institutional experience with architectural projects as well as residential and commercial. And I think that she can be a very great asset for our community, and look forward to working with her for many years to come.
Thank you, Judd.
And I challenge you, council, to vote against her after Judd said she's perfect.
Thank you both for the kind words. I appreciate it.
Any other comments? All right, Anna, can you please call roll?
Tarnas,
Yes.
Vincent,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
Silver,
Yes.
Klein,
Enthusiastically, yes.
Comet.
Yes.
April, welcome aboard. You will be sworn in at planning and zoning. You are welcome to stay and witness this meeting, but you may also excuse yourself if you prefer to do so.
Okay, thank you. I think I'll stay around, but I might turn my camera off. So
Okay, welcome aboard.
thank you again.
See you
I
next
look-
week.
Welcome. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations, and see
Congratulations.
you next week.
Thank you.
All right, I will make a motion to confirm the council president's appointment of the following members of the Orange Village Committee on Racial Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion, REDI.
I will second that once you read the names.
Yeah, give me a moment. Let me pull up the email with the names on it.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. All right, Judson Klein, co-chair, Stacy Vincent, co-chair, Louis Burrows, Faith Durden, Jason Hill, Scott Lewis, Sarah Blake Partington, Daniel Sumer, and Angela Ugrin. I apologize if I mispronounce any of those. Is there a second?
That's an
Second,
enthusiastic second. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I think I heard Judd in there. Thank you.
2 seconds.
Yeah. Any comments?
we're co-chairs, we do that.
Yeah. Any comments, Judd or Stacy? Do you have anything you want to add?
I think we'll reserve comments for our section when we talk about the meeting last Thursday and bring everybody up to speed.
Council reports.
Okay. Very good. Anna, will you please call roll?
Sure. Charnas. Oh, you're muted again. Wait, thumbs up. Does that
Yes,
count?
having a problem with the mouse, sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Vincent,
Yes, and welcome to the meeting.
Perry. Perry,
Yes.
Silver,
Yes.
Klein,
Happily, yes.
Comet.
Yes.
Very nice.
A little Zoom trick, if you didn't know, just a little heads up. When you're on mute, if you press the space bar, it temporarily unmutes you. If you just need to like unmute yourself for just a second to say yes or no. Just a little tip there.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Well, for those who are on the call, I see the Burrows and
Dolores.
Dolores Moman. We're glad you're here and glad to welcome you to this new effort on our part. And we'll talk about it more later.
All right, moving on. I will make a motion to award the Orange Village roof replacement project, including the alternate bid for the annex building, to Lindsay Construction and Design at a cost of not to exceed $149,250. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, Judd. Bob Zugan, did you want to discuss this?
Well, I certainly will answer any questions, but real quick, we had 6 bidders pull plans. We had 3 that put in a bid for this project. As you can see, there's quite a range difference, the low being 105 and the high one being 259,000. And you'll see, I won't go over it, you got the paper in front of you, what the annex alternate costs were. Due diligence was done. Lindsay Construction has a lot of work knowledge, doing specifically work with the Akron Metropolitan Housing Authority, Summit County, Tuscarawas, a number of them. And they actually have done some large projects. The most recent one was a $4.1 million one with the Summit Metropolitan Housing Authority. They're very familiar with prevailing wage stuff, and I found no other information about them that would make me decide to not recommend awarding this contract. Also, as you can see, we did have that annex alternates. My recommendation of the $149,250 covers that municipal center and the alternates. And as you can see, we can always anticipate that there might be some sheathing replacement. So we had a fixed price, a unit price per square foot in that bid. So we'll answer any other questions if there are any.
What is sheathing and why is there such a huge difference
I
between
have a
the
question.
price?
Sheathing is basically plywood. It's, you know, what goes over your trusses and everything. It's just known as regular sheathing. I think the explanation there, $2, $6 is sort of in line. I think the $38.20 was just an error on his judgment, thinking one piece of plywood, because if you do the math, 4x8 is 32 square feet. You know, that means the number would be low, but I did not reach out to them because I felt the municipal center and annex alternate costs were still out of range of my awarded recommendation.
Bob, did all 3, are they using the same, was it same materials? I mean, there's such a huge difference there.
Yep, all the bid specifications were done by myself with a review by our chief building official. Pretty much standard, a lot of it that falls under the regular building codes and stuff. So, and then we actually had I had a little input conversation with Ron Kluchin with the village as well.
It's great. It's coming in less than we budgeted for.
When will the work be done if this gets approved?
I'm sorry, what's that?
When will the work be done if this gets approved?
Well, I'll make notification and then we'll move from there. You know, we'll set up a pre-con. So this is step 1, and then notice of award will be the next step.
And then we can report next month what the schedule is.
Any other questions? All right, Anna, will you please call roll?
Jarnes,
Yes.
Vincent,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
Silver,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Comet.
Yes.
All right, thank you. Item 6 on the agenda. I will make a motion to authorize an agreement with Flock Group Incorporated for an amount not to exceed $45,000 for 2 years of service for traffic cameras.
A second.
Thank you, Stacy. Chief Costura, did you want to discuss this or?
Have any questions?
Yeah, anyone have any questions? Chief Costura, do you want to go over it? You're muted. You're muted. I think he's saying he doesn't.
I think he's
Can't
quitting.
get it
I
to
think he's
work.
giving up. Our big
Throw it
break,
in the towel.
please, chief. Hit the space bar. Yeah, I don't know what, okay,
can't.
I can answer any questions. This is what we discussed, and this is for 9. This is the basic phase 1. No obligation if we do it and don't like it. There is some electrician cost on top of this within my spending authority to get them in. That's the only thing that's at risk. It can only be a plus, as we explained. Chris, okay? Anything else to add? Text it to me.
All right, any other questions or comments? No questions for Chief Costura though, because he's not going to answer them. All right, Anna, will you please call roll?
Sure. Jarnes,
Yes.
Vincent,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
Silver,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Comet.
Yes.
Thank you very much. I will make a motion to approve the treasurer's report of fiscal year 2021 through February of 2021. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Lisa. Any questions, comments? Dana, did you want to go over this?
Sure. Okay, you have the cash account summary for February. It's showing we have $9,183,774.41 in our bank accounts. And according to our summary for all funds, our revenues were $1,300,692.75. And our February expenses for all funds was $596,920.49. We received a distribution of property taxes. So that's where we got most of the revenue that came in for the month, and also our gas tax. And then the last document received for the treasurer's report is the revenue and expenditures for the general fund line items. We're at 2/12 of the year, or 16% of the year. And that shows you the line items for revenues and expenditures. The only thing I would point out, everything falls in line with the percentages, except for under council, we exceeded it in operational expenses, but that's due to the annual update for the codified ordinances. And under administration, the operating expenses are over as a result of us paying the annual property insurance bill that we pay in January. So as we progress through the years, those will even out. It's just showing that we've spent more than we spent 12 months when we're only 2 months into the year. That's all I had.
Thank you. Any questions or comments for Dana? All right, Anna, will you please call roll?
Jarnes,
Yes.
Vincent,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
Silver,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Comet.
Yes. Yes.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. I will make a motion to approve the tax administrator's report for February of 2021. Is there a second?
Second.
I think I heard Stacy there. Thank you. Questions, comments for Dana? Or Dana, want to go over it first? Probably better than-
Yes, you have the tax administrator's report for February. Our total gross tax collections was $695,516.78 in income tax. Compared to last year, we're about a little over $62,000 higher than we were last year. And we're about $24,000 less year to date than we were last year. So I know last month we were a little bit behind, but it did pick up. And just a heads up on the next month, it looks like we're trending about the same as where we were through March. This is all pre-COVID, so we'll see how we go when we start proceeding into the April and the rest of the years as a result of comparing COVID months last year. You then have the income tax monthly analysis showing the January and February distributions compared for the last 3 years plus current. And I gave you the gross tax revenues, so you can see that as well for what the collections are. So we're pretty much pretty even with where we are year to date from last year. That's all I have.
Okay, very good. Any questions or comments for Dana? Okay, Anna, will we please call roll?
Charnes,
Yes.
Vincent,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
Silver,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Comet. Comet,
Yes.
thank you.
All right, thank you. Number 9 on the agenda, discussion of the bills to be paid in the month of April in the amount of $543,273.55 and additional March expenses in the amount of $1,981,278.39.
I would just like everyone to, I'd just like to point out that this was a big month. We sent close to 700,000 to the schools for their share of the pilot payment and their share of last year's income tax. And we sent another $1.5 million out for the TIF bond payments. So that those numbers are exceedingly high for any one given month, but that explains 90-some% of it. Dana? Any questions on any specific expenditures?
Okay, thank you. Moving on, are there any audience comments relating to agenda items only? Okay, we have no old business. We'll move on to new business. Ordinance 2021-6, an ordinance amending the compensation for the clerk of council and declaring an emergency. I will make a motion to suspend the rules on this. Is there a second?
Second.
A second.
Anna, will you please call a roll on suspending the rules?
Charnes,
Yes.
Vincent,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
Silver,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Comet.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Are there any questions or comments on the ordinance itself?
You don't have a motion on the table if that matters.
That's true. I will make a motion to approve ordinance 2021-6, an ordinance amending the compensation for the clerk of council. Is there a second?
I'll
Second.
second it.
I think I heard Alan. Thank you. Any questions or
Second, if you
comments?
can hear me.
I'm sorry? I think Stacy's kind of frozen.
Stacy's frozen.
Hey, Stacy said she seconded it too, so you can give some thirds and fourths.
Yeah. If there's no comments, Anna, will you please call roll?
Oh, I'd like to ask. a
Oh,
quick
I'm
question.
sorry.
What's the compensation going from and to?
I believe it's going from $300 a month to $500 a month.
Okay.
Yeah, that's in the ordinance.
Oh, I thought I read it, but I missed that part.
I don't know that it says.
It's retroactive to January 1st.
Yeah, retroactive to January 1st. Yeah, this is,
The 500.
yeah. Section 1 mentions it's being increased to 500. I don't know if it says the old
Yeah.
compensation.
It
in-
doesn't say the old.
So
Yeah.
Oh, it says it's a range between 3 and 5.
Yeah.
And how long has it been since we gave our clerk a raise?
Oh, I don't know, but this is Brandon should have talked to you about this. This is really in Brandon's purview, but I will tell you, I know he said that the job of the clerk has been greatly expanded and kept Anna hugely busy, which I can attest to. And you really should,
True.
Brandon really should have talked to you about this first.
Yeah, no, I didn't know anything about it.
I know he's strongly in favor of it. I can tell you that much.
Great.
He initiated it.
Yeah. Any other questions or comments? Anna, will you please call roll?
Jarnes,
Yes.
Vincent,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
Silver,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Comet.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm glad no one said no, because that would have been really hard for everyone
know.
involved.
Well, just to remind everybody, it establishes a range which needed to be changed because I think we had run out of the range, but it can be up and down within that range without passing an ordinance in the future. I think it's just a motion of council.
I'm sorry. My Wi-Fi is really acting up today and I'm getting delay and intermittent, and you might have answered this and I apologize if you can even hear me now. I'm not
We can
even
hear you
sure.
fine.
Did you answer, this does go back retro to
It
January
does.
1, correct?
Yes.
And what was the amount? I didn't hear when, I know Lisa asked
500
the
a
question,
month.
but I didn't hear that.
500
It
a
went from
month.
300 to 500.
Thank you.
All
But you
right.
already
moving
voted
on.
for it.
I'm sorry, Kathy.
We already voted though.
We voted, yeah.
Okay.
No, I knew, I just didn't know where it was,
Yeah.
but it, well deserved.
Moving on to ordinance 2021-7, an ordinance authorizing the mayor to enter into a license agreement with TPS Holdings LLC for the use of a portion of the right-of-way of Harvard Road. And this is up for first reading. Mayor Kathy, do you want to?
I do, but please refer it to planning and zoning. You will see this again, just in a nutshell. At the house on the southeast corner of Harvard and Lander, where it becomes Hiram Trail, put in pillars at the edge of their driveway close to the road, and that's in the right of way. And since we spotted them putting them in, that house has been totally redone, and any of you can own it. I think they're asking about $890,000 for it, but that house has been redone. It is for sale, and they put the pillars in. And we have done this in the past, most noticeably the house on Orange Meadow, which has been a subject of another matter tonight. They had a license filed as well. What the license basically says, we will record the document so that anytime there's a title search or anytime there's a new owner, they will see that they have an obligation at their cost to remove those pillars from the right of way if we ever have a municipal use or purpose or want that space. So this gives them permission to keep the pillars there at their risk.
Did they put
Steve,
them
did that
up?
cover it?
Did they put them up not realizing it was the right of way and that they?
Well, even we did this for a house on Emery too. The people that want that decorative feature, Lisa has them, but she got in before the code. We require this because it's in the right of way, but that's the place that they put it for decorative architectural enhancements, right, Judd?
Right. And it's only becomes a problem if and when there's some kind of utility work that needs to be done within the right of way, or any other right of way work that needs to occur within that place that would necessitate the removal of those architectural items.
So
This would be like if the trails were going in there, they'd have to
they would
take them
have to
out.
remove it. Mhm.
Right.
Exactly.
If there were a conflict, the key aspect of it is people who built the pillars, that's what was throwing me off, are governed by the Planning and Zoning Commission's approval of the location. What this is a license that will be filed with the county recorder's office so that future purchasers are aware that the village could come and ask them to remove those pillars if there were a need to do so. So we're covered with respect to who's owning the property today. We are going to have this license agreement so that it covers the folks in the future. And I think, as I recall, this license agreement was may have been a part of planning and zoning's approval process. That the
I
fact
was
that
just gonna say, I don't know that we ever approved these. I don't know.
Okay.
I think you sort of put them up like people do.
What
Okay.
happens, even with this license agreement, what happens if they're that close and our snowplow plows snow and it pushes it over?
This also lays out the fact that it's not our problem. They're accepting the risk.
And Steve has a very favorite statement about what the right of way means.
Yeah, usually if you have a right of way, you don't have to say you're sorry for something that's in the right of way that gets hit.
It puts them on notice so that everyone knows. There's some that we don't have this on because they've been there a long time, but Lisa would have the same obligation at her cost, even though we don't have her future homeowners on notice.
Yeah, that's the way I understand it too, that any structure in the right of way is the homeowner's responsibility, whether you have a license on file or not, but this gives us a little extra layer of protection.
Well, it also helps the future owners know.
Mhm. Yeah.
Do we need to do anything to refer this to planning and zoning, or do we just?
The chair
just did.
just says it's referred. You just say that this is referred to planning and zoning, and it'll be back when they're done.
Referred to planning and zoning.
Done.
Such power.
It's intoxicating.
Don't let that go to your head.
It's only 1 week. Thank you.
Brent, if you could send some my way, I'd appreciate it.
What?
My internet.
Sorry.
You could send some of that power toward my internet this way, I'd appreciate it.
Yeah. Is there a motion to adopt the final order and conclusions of fact for a front yard setback variance of 3 feet, 1 3/4 inches for the property at 28550 Emery Road?
So moved.
Thank you, Judd. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Stacy. Any comments or questions on this? Okay, Anna, will you please call roll?
Jarnes,
Yes.
Vincent,
Yes.
Carrie,
Yes.
Silver,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Comet.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Item D, is there a motion to adopt the final order and conclusions of fact for a corner side yard setback variance of 30 feet from the north lot line at Jackson Road for the property located at 28300 Jackson Road?
So moved.
Thank you, Judd. Is there a second?
Second.
Second it.
I think I heard Pradeep first.
Okay.
Gotta be faster, Lisa. Come on. Any comments?
Craft
Questions?
shoes on to beat Pradeep.
Yeah. Any comments or questions?
Anybody want Steve to explain anything?
I have a question about the landscaping. Is that is the landscaping a requirement as part of what we're voting on? Or is that something that will be added on later and then come back to planning and zoning for approval or back to us?
It's
for
in the
approval?
conclusions of fact.
It will come back to planning and zoning.
Oh, yeah, this doesn't,
It's a requirement that council would impose as a condition for a variance, and the Planning and Zoning Commission would determine the sufficiency of the
landscaping.
landscaping.
And would the work be able to start prior to the landscaping approval in place, or the work can be done if approved and then they would come back and do the landscaping?
No, in this case, when they bring the plan for approval, it would have to include all of that.
Right.
Thank you.
The landscaping and plan approval would be concurrent with one another, and would be considered by the planning commission as an integral part of the design approval for the project, should it be approved as the variance be.
And these conclusions of fact are public after we vote, right, Steve?
Yes. I would just like to point a couple things out which were brought to the attention of the Planning Commission. Number one, there is a case very similar on point for a property over on Orange Meadow to the north of this property, where a variance was granted. And I think Planning and Zoning Commission noted the similarities between the two cases and feels that this treatment is the same as the treatment of that property, two similarly situated properties being treated the same way. The other thing that I would add is that it's an interesting situation that the village has a setback on a corner lot that's different than a typical side yard setback. So if this property were immediately adjacent to the property to the north of it, where there's an objection coming in, the building could be 15 feet from the setback line. With this project, it's going to be 30 feet plus the width of the road. So which I think is 30 feet. So it's going to be 60 feet from the neighbor's property line, which is an interesting distinction that's called for by the code, but it points out that the purpose of the setback from the roadway is different than the purpose of the setback from a neighboring property. And I believe that the Planning and Zoning Commission addressed that issue, and they've addressed the concerns in the draft conclusions of fact that you'll be voting on.
I'd like to point out that Planning and Zoning was also concerned about the environmental impacts, because to put it exactly how the code is strictly interpreted would require adding a lot of pavement and removing a lot of greenery. This will reduce the amount of pavement and add greenery. So that was a concern that's in there too.
I'd also like to point out that while the code does specifically talk about hardship being needed to grant the variance, it also speaks to the idea of practical difficulty. And the practical difficulty that was identified in this project was the practical difficulty that arises from having to add significant paving and a building remotely located from its primary structure to access it. So that created part of the necessity for the location of this structure as it was depicted on the plan presented to Planning Commission that has resulted in this conclusion of fact and variance request.
And 2 outbuildings are allowed on one property, right, Steve?
Correct. On a property that's less than 3 acres. On a property more than 3 acres, you can have 3 outbuildings. I believe this property is less than 3 acres.
Oh yeah, it's less.
So the other thing that's of significance is that there was a question raised regarding the use of the property for commercial purposes. Your zoning code allows customary home occupations in the U1 district, and it puts restrictions on it so that you don't have equipment and so forth parked outside, and that there be no impact on the neighborhood. The building department, to my understanding, has not received any complaints about this property's home occupation imposing itself on the neighborhood. And in fact, the addition of garage spaces is intended to assist them in complying with the strict letter of the code and get their truck out of the driveway.
Doesn't the code also require that all items related to the business be stored inside?
Exactly right. Exactly right. So the purpose of the requested additional garage space is to further comply with the code. And I believe the Planning and Zoning Commission found that the practical difficulties inherent in this particular property and the setback requirement from Jackson and the similar treatment as the neighbor to the north on Orange Meadow all warranted granting the variance in this case, which is why the draft conclusions read as they do, that I would defer to Mr. Klein or Mayor Mulcahy to comment on Mr. Hitt's negative vote.
I was just gonna say, look back at all the variances over the years. He's always negative. He has a high bar.
Did he give any specific reasoning during the meeting?
No, it's Judd, can you convey
No,
Brian's mind?
none more than he believes that that there might be a way to do it that, put the building further back on the site. But beyond that, no.
He's sort of like those strict constitutionalists.
Okay.
He's very, very strong.
Yeah, there was also.
But they have different opinions and input.
There was also a discussion regarding the environmental impacts, and the draft conclusions mentioned that this variance permits existing trees to be kept and minimize paving areas. There could have been more detail provided in that. It would be significantly more paving to get this garage to conform with the setback requirements. And the other aspect of that, doing so, not only would you require twice as much pavement as is on the property now, but all the garage doors could be facing towards Jackson Road, which would, there's an aesthetic component there that I think the Planning and Zoning Commission thought that the design with the variance would avoid. And I, again, defer to
Well, then
Mr.
the
Klein.
garages will face west instead of north. North.
Well, also, we talked about the screening, creating screening for that, which can be done with landscaping on not only on the side of the building to soften its appearance to the neighbors across the street, but also to the west of the parking of the driveway to create screening for those doors that are facing west as well. So the whole thing could be enclosed in what would be essentially like a parking court, which would be far more desirable than seeing 6 garage doors lined up on Jackson Road. It would look like the service department over there. And we felt that that was not an appropriate design response to the situation.
Under Dan Brown's leadership, we did variants like this on Oxford Court. All the houses were moved from the setback because we didn't want to run into the, because he wanted more green space and less pavement. So that's been a consideration throughout the years.
So I'm happy to answer any questions anybody may have. I don't have any further explanations.
They don't have any questions or comments. All right, hearing none. Anna, will you please call roll?
Jarnes,
Yes.
Vincent,
Yes.
Perry,
Yes.
Silver,
Yes.
Klein,
Yes.
Comet.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Bonk, there is a public record now that will answer a lot of your, I'm sure, questions.
And moreover, this is going to be coming back to Planning Commission as for approval of the actual structure and the landscaping for it. So there's another bite at that particular apple.
Anna, do you need us to come in and sign something on both of these last two?
Yes.
And to those who can't, I suppose we could bring it to you. We'll cater to you.
Okay, thank you. Number 13 on the agenda, audience comments relating to matters which advance the good of the village. Are there any audience comments? Mr. and Mrs. Burrows, I see you reaching for your unmute. Do you have something?
Yes. I'm Louis Burrows from Jackson Road. I would like to commend council for passage of the Racial Equity, Inclusion, Diversity Committee. I've waited 27 years, 26 years for the village to make progress in this direction. It'll be interesting to see what form it takes. I'm already encouraged by the leadership of Stacy and Judd. And it'll be interesting in what problems the committee addresses and what questions are raised. I agreed to be on the committee because I think it has potential to be more than PR and politics. And I just want to lay that out right from the start. Thanks.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Burrows. I hope you're right about that too. Any other comments? Audience comments?
Good to see Frederic. My old friend. Good to see you.
Good to see you too.
Dolores Moman also wanted to speak.
Again, I would like to commend Stacy and Judd also taking on a very important topic for the community. And I just want to commend them for pushing this committee through. And I too, I'm looking forward to changes. And I've been on many committees like this, and it always stalls out, but I'm encouraged also due to the leadership. And I'm looking forward to change. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you. Thank you for joining the meeting tonight as well. Any other comments, audience comments? Okay, hearing none. Mayor Mulcahy, any comments tonight?
I have a lot of comments tonight.
All right.
I do. Okay. First of all, I'd like to announce that currently, as we've put out in emails and on our website, Orange Village is actively seeking 3 employees, one for a part-time accounts payable clerk, another for seasonal summer help in the service department, and a full-time state of Ohio OPATA certified police officer. Maybe Mr. Wittenberg can get this in the Cleveland.com article. Orange Village is and always has been an equal opportunity employer. We are always seeking applications for the fire department. Please send your qualified friends or professionals you know to apply for these jobs. We will hire the most qualified. Water main break on Miles Road. The road will be closed through Friday, probably through Friday, hopefully not longer. And it will be eastbound is available. You can go eastbound only. April 30th is Arbor Day tree planting. Meet at the, what should we call it? By the basketball court at 3 o'clock. Paper shredding this Friday, Pepper Pike, 9 a.m. until the truck is full or noon. All those brush and branches that have been put out throughout the village will start getting picked up on Monday, April 19th. April is computer collection month at the service department. I can't stress enough, please, everybody, all the residents who are listening to this that don't see it in the e-news or the newsletters, please, Mondays are windy, and after the snow, there's just lots of garbage, lots of trash. Best thing we can do to keep our community looking good. Those who want to participate in the community-wide garage sale that will be held on June 26th and 27th from your own home, sign up on the website. Anna will handle that as well. And I got a very special text during tonight's message that I would like to share with everybody from Mayor Ben Holbert. The new council passed the legislation to approve the sidewalk on Brainerd Road.
Awesome.
That just happened like a few minutes ago?
Yeah, at 7:47 he texted me.
Good.
I told him I would announce it to our council tonight.
Must be where Brandon is.
I texted Brandon too. Yeah, that's funny. That's funny.
Great.
That's all I have.
Okay. Yeah. I was going to mention, actually, I know there are some new council members to our neighbors to the north in Woodmere, not Canada, and we wish them well. And it looks like they're already doing some good work there. So that's good to hear. Question for either the mayor or Bob Zugan. Is there any update on the bathroom by the playground, timing of that?
Well, I was going to add to my comments and then I'll let Bob answer that when we let a construction project, Then we have to sit down with the person who got the job and they will give us a detailed schedule and we'll keep you informed. The bathroom was ordered on a 90 to 120 day window 30 days ago.
Yeah, we're still definitely a few months out.
Okay. Okay, I know it's been busy at the playground and the park these last couple of weeks, which is good to see.
Park's great.
Yeah.
We do have the temporary restrooms that we've used in the past. Those been delivered to the playground. The others will be coming next week, Monday. And a correction to the mayor's report, it's westbound that's open on Miles Road. Eastbound is
Oh,
closed.
thank you. Miles Road is open westbound only. Thank you,
Yep.
thank you.
And if you do go travel through there, you will still see the signs at Harper and Miles Road. And that's tried just to buffer some of the traffic traveling through. Our code red identified the residents of what they can do, so.
Okay, thank you for the update. I don't have anything further. Committee reports and comments by council members. I'm gonna do something crazy tonight and go in reverse order than what we're used to. So Stacy, would you like to go first?
Wow. I was going to.
It's all you.
I know, like we had planned this so that Judd was going to go first, but that's okay.
You
I'm
want
gonna
to
start
go
with the
first?
school
Go
board.
ahead.
No.
That's
I'm gonna let Stacy carry the mail.
The school board met this past Monday. The meeting included a lengthy discussion about extended learning plan for this summer to assist children who may need extra activities or opportunities in ELA, PE, and fine arts at the elementary levels, with some additional targeted experiences for students at the middle and high school due to the pandemic. These would likely occur in June and July as personal asynchronous learning opportunities with teaching support during scheduled office hours. Specifics about the offerings, activities in Brady's Amazing Fit Lab, tell everybody you know, along with possible on-campus opportunities later this summer will be made available on the Orange Schools website.
That sounded
I
totally
will
in
share that
code.
with Anna.
That sounded like you were speaking a
code?
foreign
Oh,
language.
The Fab Lab is a wonderful opportunity for people to be creative and explore all sorts of endeavors. It will be really, and once it's all posted on the website, I'll let Anna know so she can share it on ours. Thank you. The superintendent also discussed a list of potential capital improvement projects all around campus that the board may want to consider. I imagine Mayor Mulcahy and the other mayors will hear much more about those and other items at the mayor's meeting coming up on April 28th. The school district is now moving to a 10-day quarantine period and will be receiving some COVID test kits that families may use for students specifically. More details to come on that. For anyone familiar with the Orange Schools, the name of coach and retired teacher Dale Kramer is synonymous with track and field. The Orange Relays are coming up on April 30th. So if you're not doing Arbor Day planting, April 30th is the Orange Relays to honor Dale's, get this, 61 years of service to the Orange Relays. It has been formally renamed the Dale Kramer Relays at Orange High School, and Dale's still actively involved as a volunteer assistant coach and continues to serve the Orange Schools. So congratulations to him. One more note about the schools. I had a wonderful opportunity to speak to third graders this week about local government. I'm going to hold off just because of the length of this meeting about sharing more about that experience, but I do want to take a moment to thank both Dana and Steve for providing me with enough tools and additional information that I needed to get through so I could be as smart as a third grader. And one more note from all of the kids that chimed in, huge commendations and kudos from these third graders go out to my fellow council members, our buildings and service department, our first responders, our staff, our treasurer, and our mayor. They think Orange Village, and you guys are doing an awesome job. That's right out of the mouth of Babe. So congratulations on that.
Well, there's the opinion I care about.
And I'll share more of the details on that in the May meeting. Finally, I just want to thank all who attended the inaugural Ready meeting this past Thursday. I am so pleased to see the boroughs on this call. I'm so pleased to see Dolores Moman, at least by name, but to hear her voice on this call. I appreciated the candor and the respect each and every individual brought to that meeting, and am really grateful to live in a community where people are willing to find ways to look within and find ways to communicate and collaborate to make our community the very best it can be. Our next meeting and first official meeting of the newly appointed committee will be on Thursday, May 13th via Zoom. All are welcome, and I look forward to seeing many of you there. And I will turn it over at that point to Judd.
Well, I'm not sure I can add very much to that. I do, again, want to thank everyone who attended that meeting. It was really very productive and encouraging. I heard a lot of great positive information and learned things from our neighbors that are really important for us to know. We're now moving forward on a unique journey, and we have some really great people that are, I hate to use that word, great people. Who used that before? We have some wonderful people that are contributing to this, that have thoughtful ideas and intuition and insight that will help us find solutions to problems we don't know we have. And we're going to work diligently at that as a group representing our community and doing the best we can. The notes, the meeting notes, Stacy was the note taker for last Thursday's meeting, and the meeting notes will be available for review at the next meeting, and then will be made available to council for acceptance and then storage. I'm working with Anna to create a folder on the website so that our information can be stored there and made readily available to the community for access. We recorded the meeting, and we're having a little bit of difficulty transmitting the recording to Anna so she can upload it to the village website. But hopefully by tomorrow, that will be resolved and we'll have the full recording available. I think it's worth a listen. There's some really great things that were said, some really wonderful things that people expressed, and the openness of that conversation, I hope, is indicative of where we're going to go on this journey.
I have
So
a
again-
question, Judd,
Yes, Mayor.
and Steve could pipe in. Did I hear you say that you were going to bring the minutes from the committee to council for their approval?
No, we have, as part of the formation of the committee, council gets a copy of the meeting minutes.
Oh, okay, but the committee will approve them.
I said the committee will approve them
Okay.
at our next meeting, and then they'll be made public, okay? That's the point. There was no planning commission meeting this past week. There will be next week. There'll be a number of items on it, and that's all I have to say from my chair at 3959 Orangewood.
All right, thank you, Judd. Alan Charnas.
Sorry, you went the reverse order. I wasn't prepared for my name yet. First of all, it's so nice to see other people in this meeting. We welcome you all back any other time. We're happy to have you. Hopefully you see, our meetings go fairly quickly and are in order. And it's nice to see people getting involved on the new committee and also coming here to our council meeting. So hopefully that can continue. I know we did a lot of business tonight. One of the ones that was very quickly done, but I think is super important. And, Chief, I hope it helps you. Safety of our community is so key. And I think that was a huge piece of the legislation to pass and, approve these cameras. So, I think that's, we talked about a lot of different things here in the village today, but that was a huge piece. I just want to recognize that. And it was good to hear two former council people, even though Frances couldn't be here, but to hear her letter and former Councilman Bonk. So it's good to see people staying involved. That's all I got.
Great, thank you. Pradeep, comments?
No comments.
Okay, Lisa Perry. You're muted, Lisa.
Am I unmuted? Yeah.
You are, we can hear you.
Okay, great. I have no report tonight. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. And with that, I will make a motion to adjourn the council meeting of April 14th, 2021. Do we vote on that or we just do it?
Let's do it.
All right, we're done then. Meeting is adjourned.